All right, happy Thursday, everyone. I wanted to hop on really quick. Wanted to tell you a story and conclude a story that I actually shared a little while ago, and also give you 2 principles that I think will really help you out in your private practice journey. Let's just dive right into it. So a couple weeks ago, was it last week? I've been making videos every day, but on one of the videos, I think last week, I talked about an error that I had caught. A billing error, right, where I submitted a claim. And just to give you the brief summary, if you didn't see that, I submitted a claim to the insurance company, and this client that I submitted the claim for typically has a copay, but when I submitted a claim at one point, and it came back as a deductible, not a copay. And this wasn't just January 1st, the restarting of deductibles, but this client's plan is just a copay. There's never a deductible. So when it came back that way, I was like, oh, there's an error here. Now, this error, I caught it right at the same exact time that I was adjusting the way I was doing my billing, right? And just to give you a little backstory there too, I've been learning to submit claims and work with the different insurance companies and submitting claims properly for incident to and supervisory billing, right? So I was making some adjustments on the back end. Billing can be it's really hard. It's nuanced. It's difficult. I always advise speaking with a biller, consulting a biller, if you're able to do that, or even hiring one. They know a lot of stuff that we think we might know, or that we might think is simple, but there's so much nuance to billing. But that's a sidebar. Anyway, so I was changing the way I was doing some billing, catch this error, and all of a sudden I start to panic because now I don't know, is this an error on the insurance company's end? Is this an error because of the way I'm now changing my billing? Am I doing it wrong? Am I going to get audited? Right? And I thought, is this one client, this one issue, is this just the tip of the iceberg? Now, is every claim I'm submitting now going to come back in error? What's going to happen? So I freak out a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot internally, right? I don't know what to do. I'm not sure how to fix it. I'm not even sure, does this error ever happen? And highlight number one takeaway from this is to always consult someone who knows more than you do when you're not sure. And so there's a biller I actually work with. She's really, really good. She helps answer a lot of my questions. If you're interested or you're looking for a biller, I'll leave her contact information down below in the description. But I gave her a call and I emailed her. I said, listen, this is the issue. This is what I'm doing. This is what happened. What do you think of this? And she responds back and she said, oh, this is an error that I see. It's rare. It's very rare, but I do see that sometimes this error occurs. And just to give you a brief kind of background of the actual error, on the insurance claim form, when you submit this, you will notice there's a spot for a rendering clinician, and then there's a spot for a billing clinician or a billing clinician. Now, the rendering clinician is the one who does the care, right? Who actually does the therapy session. And then the billing provider can be the same, but sometimes it could be a group practice, or if you're doing incident to or supervisory billing, it can be a supervisor. And so what happened in this case was I have a group practice that's contracted with Aetna, right? And then I have a rendering clinician who's an LMSW who's not credentialed and can't be. But the way Aetna works is if you have a group contract, you can submit the claim so that there's the rendering clinician who is preliminary licensed, and then you can put the billing as the group practice as long as you're paneled, right? And so I submitted it that way, and it comes back with this error. Now, it doesn't look like an error. I caught the error. And the biller said, hey, sometimes when they process the claim, they'll run it through the rendering clinician. They'll try to bill it through there and not the actual billing provider. So I said, what do I do? She said, call Aetna, tell them that you caught this and let them know that this is a potential error. So number one, just making that call gave me a lot of assurance that this is actually an error that does happen. It wasn't just me. It's not isolated to me, but she's seen this before. And then she had a potential potential solution. So I call Aetna. I get on the phone with them, surprisingly quick, and they confirm, yeah, this is an error. We did not run it through we ran it through the rendering clinician, not your group practice, not the billing clinician. We'll fix it. We'll come back to you in about 30 days. Right? And I'm like, 30 days, like, what am I going to do between now and then? Do I submit claims? Do I stop? Am I doing it wrong? Is this happening to other clients? Do I have to double check everything? So anyway, the good news was I had the information. I had a potential fix, but the bad news was I had this long lag. Now, I waited a little while, and then good news was that other claims that I had submitted the same way started to come in, and they were correct. So I realized, okay, this is not like a universal problem with all my claims. This is related to this one incident. But then I'm thinking, well, is this incident going to be resolved? Because they just tell you it's going to be fixed. You have to wait 30 days. Lo and behold, it was fixed, and now it is totally fine. It was resubmitted. The Aetna did what they said they did. They submitted the claim correctly, came back, and it looks and it is totally fine, which is absolutely phenomenal. And the second highlight that I wanted to encourage you to kind of think about is kind of related to this moment in time where I had a potential solution, but there was a lag between kind of that solution coming to fruition. I could have totally freaked out and either stopped submitting claims. I could have tried to fix all the claims I had submitted. I could have done a lot of things based off of my fear, but instead what I decided to do was wait for more information to come. And I just decided to do what I had always been doing. So I continued to submit claims the way I had been, because I didn't want to make any mess. I didn't want to like resubmit or fix or get myself into that kind of a mess if I didn't really know exactly what was happening. So I didn't do anything rash. I just did what I was always doing. And then I waited for that information to actually come through. And it came through much sooner. It was about 1 week. And then that information came through, which was really, really helpful. And so the happy ending here is that the issue was resolved. And then number 2, I didn't make the situation any worse. By staying, I wasn't calm internally, but by not making any decisions in terms of like fixing bills or whatever, I didn't make the situation any worse. And so the second thing here to take away, I think I might have just said it. I don't have a great memory. I repeat myself a lot. Is don't make rash decisions when you don't have all the information. All right. Try your best to get the information you need before making any sort of decision. And so that's it. I wanted to share with you, conclude that story. There was a happy ending, which is so fantastic. I'm really thankful for that. And then the 2 kind of life lessons for private practice: consult someone that's a professional, especially if you don't know much about it. In this case, it was a biller. And then number 2 is don't make decisions without the information that you need, especially when that information is possible to wait for. Anyway, I hope you find this helpful. I hope that you learn something. If you're interested in working with me one-on-one, or you want to hear me answer your specific questions, I run a consultation group that's all online. I'll leave a link to that down below in the description. That is where you can ask me any question. I will personally review it and respond to it. But yeah, other than that, have a great rest of your Thursday. I'll see you in the next video.